Okay, so we're back, and I have my building, and it's right there, and I have my layer 3, which is going to be another building, and then I have my sidewalk. And what I want to do is I want to build an alley. And so I've created some depth here utilizing my free transform tool and specifically going ahead and creating a little bit of perspective. Again, I created that perspective here in the alley. I've created here on the sidewalk. I've also created over here on the windowsill. Okay, so all right, pretty happy with what I have going on here. I have these parts going past the artboard. That's quite all right. I know I want this nice bright red building here. Maybe not so bright red, maybe kind of like that, but I think that that works off the green really well. And so now I need to kind of like create this other space here for where this alley lives. And I've done a pretty good job aligning this thing up, but I could make it maybe a little bit better. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on these things called guides. So I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to say guides, and I'm going to clear any guides that might be on there. And I'm going to go back to view, and I'm going to turn on this thing called rulers. Okay, so right now my rulers are on, so you can turn them on or you can hide them with this rulers command here, command R or control R on a PC. See, they show up. And the guides live on rulers. I'm going to simply click and drag straight down. Okay, and oops, I need to show them first. So that's command or control semicolon. Okay, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag these things down and see how that corner line's right up there, but that one doesn't. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this and I'm just going to move it down just a little bit. So boom, it lines up. Okay, the devil's in the details. Remember that, gang. All right, so what I'm going to do is essentially I'm going to just throw a couple rectangles back there. Okay, so I'll make a new layer here, and I'm going to throw one rectangle here. Okay, and I don't know, let's color it gray, and then maybe like a darker gray. Okay, the ground. And it's not seeming to work because that layer is in front of the building layer. So let's go ahead. Let's drop it down there just like this. And we have a ground. Look at that. Cool, right? And now let's go ahead and let's toss another just rectangle back there, a nondescript rectangle. I'll just go ahead and I'll color it a slightly lighter version of gray, and I'll say object arrange and send it back. And there we are, right? Cool. Okay, so I've got an alley. Nice, right? And then I've got this here shop, and you know, again, I don't want to recreate the wheel. I just don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go ahead and I'm going to steal something that I already made. So I'm going to come back over here, take a look at my window. It's kind of good, right? I built my window quote unquote correctly, which means that I put a hole in my shape here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to go ahead and ungroup this stuff just for a minute so I can just grab these things and just hold down the option key and drag them over to here. Okay? Grab these things, hold down the option key, drag them over to here. I just want these parts hanging out over here. So now when I throw this layer 3 on here, all right, I'm going to go ahead and just make another box, all right, just like this. Okay, it doesn't even have to be the same size. I'm not trying to make it the same. In fact, I want it to be a little bit different. Maybe I'll make it a little taller, all right? Okay, and I like that color red, so I want to highlight that color red so we know it's there. And you can hardly see the stroke, so I'm going to just bump it up so you can actually see it. Look at that, right? And I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to pop a hole in there via Pathfinder. And then I will take my stroke away because it's not really necessary. And then check it out. I'm going to take this window here, this window pane. I'm going to toss it in here, and I'm totally going to just kind of stretch it. And I know I'm all crazy about like don't stretch things and don't do this and don't do that. Well, sometimes it's okay, especially when it's just like a piece of glass. That's all right. I'm just going to stretch it. And now I've got I got this windowsill here. Okay. I'm going to put that right there. That's on the building layer, and as you can see, it's below layer 3. So let's just move it up to here and say object arrange and bring to front. Let's grab this one here, move that to layer 3 too, and put that right on up here. Zoom in a little bit so we can see what we're doing, just like this, guys. Okay, easy peasy. Make this a little bit smaller, and pull this one in a little bit more. And I'm going to grab both of these things together. I'm just going to say horizontally align center. And it's just going to align them both to one another. So if one is a little bit bigger than the other one, it's okay. They're going to be center aligned. Again, if this whole like artboard thing is throwing you off, okay, please don't get thrown off by it. Okay, it's all right. It's quite all right that it's like that. So layer 3 has all that stuff. Ooh, I'm gonna grab this. This is on the building layer. I'm gonna pop that up here. I do not want that looking like that though. I want that in the back. Okay, so there we go. And let's grab this whole thing and let's group it. Let's grab this whole thing and let's group it again because I ungrouped it a second ago. And so instead of just building, how about I call this one green building? And then how about I call this one red building? Seems appropriate. And let's turn the sidewalk back on, and then let's turn on layer 4, which we're gonna call our alley. Okay, and I'm gonna make this even darker. And same with this. Okay, and that's pretty good. I think the only thing I want to do here on the sidewalk there is I want to actually build a curb. So I'm going to do that with a rounded rectangle. Draw out a rectangle. And just drop it right here. I'm going to pull this thing over here. There we are. And I kind of want to raise it a little bit. There we are, right? And that's a nice, just kind of like, I don't know, little cityscape we got going on here. Nothing crazy, nothing too out there. I'm curious what that is. And I think I know what it is. It's this shape. So let's just pull it in a little bit. There we are. Okay. And yeah, so this is what we got. All right. Again, if you're freaked out over the artboard, just please don't be. Okay. So I've got a sidewalk, I've got a red building, I've got a green building, I've got an alley, and in the alley I think I'm going to just create a trash can. So rounded rectangle, that looks pretty good. Let's make it a little bit lighter gray. Let's put a top on it with an ellipse. Okay, does not look like a real trash can at the moment, which is okay. Because again, rounded rectangle. Let's put that right on it like this. Maybe make that a little darker. Actually, maybe make that a little lighter. Make this a little darker. Let's just go ahead and toss a couple lines in there. Some straight lines. It's a little heavy. So we'll grab our line here and we'll just maybe make it like a half a point. Drag it on over. Option, click shift. Or excuse me, yeah, option, click shift, and then command D, 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 D all day long. Drag that in front. It's looking pretty good. Does that need to be there? No. I think people get the concept. All right, it's a trash can. Let's highlight that, say object, group, and we can toss it right there. There we are. Oh no, look at that. It's in the alley. It doesn't work. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's make a new layer for it. We'll call it trash can. And let's drop it right on up here. I'll put that right about on top of the red building layer. That works. Cool. Okay. All right. So I have an environment. And I've used my shapes. I've used my pen tool. I've used my perspective tool, or excuse me, my transform tool, and I've played around with perspective. I use pathfinders. I used a bunch of stuff. And the thing is you can continue to use all sorts of different things. It's totally up to you. Now, I've got this. And I'm going to take, like, my buffalo. This guy right here. I'm going to highlight him and say edit and copy. And I'm going to toggle over to this. I'm going to paste it in, and I want to paste him on a new layer. So paste, and I'm going to say object and group, okay? Because I don't want to have this thing ungrouped. He's just going to be kind of like walking around. Buffalo, okay? Let's go ahead. Let's grab a really lazy elephant here. Edit copy. Paste. Okay. And I'm going to group him. Put him on a new layer. Elephant. Maybe make him a little smaller, bigger. I don't know. Smaller's good with me. Maybe he's like a little kid. Maybe like a, just a little kid hanging out. I'm going to just kind of have him kind of off to the side too. Kind of like hanging out in front of this building here. Kind of like Jay or Silent Bob. How about that? Maybe make our buffalo just a tad bigger. And I want to flip our buffalo so they're not facing the same direction. So I'm going to go object, transform, and reflect. Yeah, just like that. And last but not least, I think I'm going to go ahead and I might grab the hippos. I say hippos because I think I want them both. Grab this one, paste it in here, make a new layer, and drag it up there. I'll call it Hippo 1. Make it a little smaller. Maybe Hippo 1 is hanging out, talking to the elephant. And let's go and jump back to the hippos. Grab this one, copy it, jump over here, make a new layer. We'll call that Hippo 2. Paste it on in. Maybe this one here is like the parent hippo. How about that? Okay. Oh no, look, I did not group Hippo 2 and now it's all over the place. It's okay, I can click on this little target and I can select everything and group it. Then I can resize this a little bit. And there we go. I've got a scene. I've got all my animals in here. I've made an environment for them to live in, okay? And again, for those of you who are freaked out because we're going way past the border here, I totally get that. So let's do this. Let's say file and save as. And we're going to just save this as a PDF. And actually, first I'll save it as an Illustrator document. And I'm going to call it my tag. And I'm just going to call it animal scene. And put it in my 222 folder. Say OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and say file and save as and make it a PDF this time. So I'm going to format it for, instead of an Illustrator, a PDF. Okay, and I'll say save to that. And the PDF is going to cut it off. So then that way we don't see all that other stuff. So I'll say save. And when I go and I find my file, check it out, guys. Look at that. You don't see any of the stuff that's off the artboard. That's all you see. When we make this bigger, everything's there. So I'm going to have you hand me in the Illustrator document and a PDF as well.